I just wonder, first of all, I mean, we've had two very different assessments of this attack today. Donald Trump's defense secretary calling it a historic success. The Iranian supreme leader saying it failed to achieve anything significant, which I guess he would say. I just wonder where you think the truth may lie here.
Well, one of the lessons I learned when I was Secretary of Defense and we conducted a military strike was not to speculate or jump to conclusions without getting a full range of damage assessments returned so that we actually knew what the level of damage was. And I think that's the case here. Everybody's jumping to conclusions, but the reality is that the damage assessments are ongoing. We have the Defense Intelligence Agency's initial assessment. There are going to be other assessments by other intelligence agencies. We have 18 of them. They're going to continue. We'll have people on the ground making assessments. We'll have continued space pictures that will tell us a lot about what's going on. This is going to take a few weeks before we really develop an accurate assessment as to the level of damage. I really think it's important for everybody to take a deep breath and allow that process to take place.
It's interesting. You've mentioned a couple of things there, but just let us into this world of intelligence and sourcing, because the crucial question, I guess, is how damaged or destroyed were the centrifuges. Now, how will we know, and when will we know, do you think, the state that those centrifuges are in? Will we ever know?
Well, I think we will know at some point, particularly when we have human sources actually go in to where the attacks were made and make an accurate assessment of just exactly what has happened with the centrifuges for enrichment. That's going to take a while. These enrichment facilities were buried almost 200 or 300 feet underground. To be able to ultimately get there and assess the damage is just going to take a period of time. And I think it doesn't help, very frankly, to have the president speculate or the Secretary of Defense speculate or even to have others speculate as to what took place without really knowing the facts. We need to take the time to find out exactly what happened.
And is that the case, too, on this issue of the missing 400 kg of what is described as highly enriched uranium, enriched to 60%. And the IAEA says it is very concerned about the whereabouts of that. So there's obviously some question. So will we have to, the White House said today no indication that it's been removed from any of the sites, but will we have to wait to know more about that as well? And what will the intelligence sources be on that, do you think?
Well, I think that's without question. We're going to have to try to find out what took place here. We know that there was something like 400 kilograms of enriched fuel. We really don't know where they were located, where they were kept. I think it's a fair assumption that the Iranians took steps to try to protect that enriched fuel from being damaged. But we really don't know just exactly what has happened to it. And that raises a real concern, because if it is in existence and if that enriched fuel has been protected, Iran, if it decides to continue its nuclear program, has sufficient enriched uranium to be able ultimately to construct a nuclear weapon. So that is a very fundamental issue that I think both the United States intelligence and Israeli intelligence are going to have to find out just exactly what happened to that enriched fuel.
Would Israeli intelligence or American intelligence or a combination of the two necessarily know if the Iranians did make another sort of headlong rush towards the bomb?
Well, it's going to be extremely important to know that, because obviously the Israelis thought that they were moving quickly to developing a bomb. That wasn't exactly the same intelligence that the United States had. But I think the combination of Israeli intelligence and United States intelligence is very good at being able to penetrate Iran. And it can ultimately determine whether or not Iran makes the decision to move towards a nuclear weapon. I'm confident that those intelligence sources will be in place when we need them.
Trump's director of intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, assessed in March, I think it was, that Iran was not working to build a bomb. Donald Trump said last week that that was wrong. What did you make of that, exchange of views, I suppose you could call it?
Well, it concerns me as a former director of the CIA. The responsibility of intelligence is to present truth to power. And we do a pretty good job of presenting that information to our country's leaders. I don't think it's helpful when the president says that they're wrong, because the question then becomes, what is his source for making that judgment? And in my experience, the primary intelligence that is presented to an American president is developed by our intelligence sources here and abroad. That generally represents the very best intelligence that a leader can receive. So I hope he doesn't question that credibility. I think we do a very good job of trying to present truth to power.
What did you think, Mr. Panetta, of the attack itself, the decision to order the attack? Do you think, President Trump clearly saw a window of opportunity. Do you think he was right to order the attack?
I think I'm a believer that when the president says something's going to happen, that he has to stand by his word. Whether you agree or disagree with the president putting us in that position, the reality is he said to the world, if Iran does not negotiate a settlement with regards to its nuclear capability, that the United States would strike at Fordo and the other nuclear facilities that Iran had. When Iran failed to come forward and negotiate an agreement, I don't think there was any other choice by the President of the United States but to strike at those targets. And that's what he did. And I think it's important for the credibility of the United States that he took that action.
Do you think America and Israel are safer places because of what happened? And do you think the ceasefire will hold?
That's the biggest question of the moment, because it's the question of where do we go from here? I think there's a hopeful path if the ceasefire can hold, if Israel can now turn its attention to dealing with Gaza and releasing the hostages and trying to develop a more permanent solution in the Middle East, and if Iran ultimately agrees and negotiates some kind of inspection and verification process with regards to its nuclear area. That would be the most hopeful scenario. But there could be a downside here as well. If the ceasefire is broken, if Israel goes back to war in Gaza, and if Iran, because it has the regime in place, decides to continue to both repair its nuclear facilities that were damaged and continue the effort to move towards a nuclear weapon, that could be a prescription for additional war.
Leon Panetta, I appreciate you coming on the programme. It was very interesting to talk to you.